Hey everyone, welcome to 996 The Howl for the uninitiated. This is an unedited YouTube vlog discussing everything pain. It's that time of year. Pretty much. I think if the Coyotes lose Tuesday night, they leave a total of 6 points on the board. They will never catch the Minnesota Wild, and it's looking like you have to pray. You have to hope to whatever God you pray to, if you do pray, for some team to collapse. And it looks like the Coyotes aren't playing at a playoff type level. You're exactly halfway through the season. Trade deadline is looming, especially during COVID, where some players may need a quarantine for 2 weeks. Could be earlier than expected, but they played such a great game Friday night. Not if you're a scoreboard watcher, obviously not a good way to watch hockey. One of their best 60-minute efforts in a really long time. I would say back to the St. Louis Blues series. I was really hyped Friday night. They looked great, really liking the good habits they were doing. It was a back and forth chess match. At the end of the day, they didn't score on the grade A opportunities they had. And just to give one example was Phil Kessel, who had 3 breakaways and another grade A point blanker. It's good to see Phil get rewarded Sunday afternoon with a bit of a floater, fluky, greasy, non-Phil Kessel-like goal. Who's looking, he's tied on the team with 9 goals, tied with Christian Dvorak, which is strange to say because it seems like Dvorak hasn't scored in a really long time. Just like Nick Schmaltz, 1 goal in 12 games. I couldn't believe that when the broadcasters were saying that. Schmaltz has been really quiet. Garland has been quiet so much too. Keller's like the only one of the short leash line who's been putting together good games, even during the matchups against the Avalanche. He was the only good forward on the Coyotes. He's looking like he has jumped. He has 8 points in his past 8 games. The short leash line was reunited Sunday afternoon. Pretty much a domino effect. Larson was put onto the 4th line, paired with Fisher and Dryden Hunt, and then Gajula, Brassard, Pitlick, and then Dvorak, Krause, and Kessel seemed like a good line. Jomerson out with a lower body, so you had Lyubushkin replacing Jomerson, which I always say Lyubushkin is going to be the Jomerson replacement. So I think that's the first time I think we've seen Lyubushkin in place for Jomerson. Demers has been stuck on the roster playing games for, I think this is his 4th straight game now, ever since being out of the scratch. A lot of people don't like Demers. Reason why: the second goal by the Minnesota Wild, where OEL comes across from his side of the ice. OEL's a left D, LD, and Demers is a right D. I don't know why Ekman Larsson decided to move from his side to make a check along the boards at center ice, leaving the whole center ice wide open for a breakaway goal by Nick Bonino, and such a crusher. Even Friday night, a 0-0 game going into the 3rd period, and just a backbreaker goal in the 3rd. Sunday afternoon, 1-1 going into the 3rd period. Another backbreaker goal by the Wild. The Wild, just a consistent, heavy team who just keeps pushing the game along, almost like the Avalanche, but less prowess as opposed to the Avalanche. It's good that the Coyotes could skate with Minnesota. They trade chances. They match up well against Minnesota, but the difference between Minnesota and the Coyotes, Minnesota can do it for a full 60, and the Coyotes will just have their breaks that make them lose games. And one mistake by Ekman Larsson paired with Demers cost them the game. The power play too, abysmal. It's always bad. Somehow their 20% efficiency like Minnesota has the worst power play in the league. Like statistically, they're the worst. Obviously, I'm exaggerating when I say the Coyotes have the worst power play, but so you have the Minnesota Wild have the worst power play, and then their power play looks so much better than the Coyotes. But the Wild's power play is at 8%, and the Coyotes are at 20%. Just the Coyotes have so much problems just gaining the zone. And then once set up, they kind of lost. They're waiting for the opposition to overcommit to one player, and then that's when they get their chance. Not sure why Schmaltz was on PP2 paired with Brassard, Pitlick, Osterley, and Ekman Larsson. I'm pretty sure Schmaltz should be on PP1 with Keller, Chikrin, Dvorak, Garland. That's where he's best suited. Kessel's also on the PP1. Yeah, not sure why they moved Kessel and Keller to PP1 and then moved Schmaltz to PP2. I didn't like that. Schmaltz is your best power play winger. He's a centerman. Best power play forward, I should say, is Nick Schmaltz. Wicked shot, likes the set play of receiving a pass on the half wall from the defenseman. Chikrin's obviously the best power play defenseman. Ranta played solid. Hill played solid Friday night too. It's going to be tough to steal games all the time for them, but they need to be consistent. The first goal that Ranta let in, a bit shaky, not sure what Ranta was doing. He got himself out of position, and the Wild player was able to bank it off from behind the red line. But nothing to his fault. He looked sharp. Coyotes looked okay for Sunday afternoon, a good first, bit sloppy in the second, a lot of penalties in the second period. Friday night, they had so many penalties. I think 3 or 4 straight tripping penalties late into the second. They lost momentum. Even if the Wild didn't score in their power plays, they gained the momentum and had a great third period Friday night. Kyle Kaprizov with a hat trick, and he's good. I thought he was actually a first-round pick. I totally didn't even know he was drafted the same round as Connor Garland. That's pretty crazy how two small guys are, blooming not late into their career, but they were drafted in 2015, 6 years ago. So late bloomers for sure. Bit of an interesting tidbit that similar situations were happening for both the Wild and the Coyotes. So they had the Wild again Tuesday, then I think about 2 games against the Avalanche before 2 games against Anaheim, rounding out this 7-game road trip. It's a must-win Tuesday. They got to come out hard. They're going to wear the red jerseys. I love those red jerseys on Friday. They look great in the brick red jerseys. So let's hope for a good game Tuesday, and then we'll see. I think if they lose that game in regulation, it's time. It's a signal to Bill Armstrong that it's up to him to start changing the tides and move forward from what was built from a name which I wouldn't say, even though I'm still a fan of his, but a lot of you don't like him, so I won't even mention his name. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching. If you like what you're seeing, spread the word, and thank you for your support.